Have you ever been in a conversation? You say something that you know is grammatically okay, but the other person looks at you with this little look of confusion. Like you said something just a bit weird?
Oh, I know that look. It's that polite, I think I know what you mean, but that's not how we say it face. It's like they're trying to solve a puzzle while you're talking.
Exactly. And it's the worst feeling because it makes you want to just stop talking and hide. But listen, if you felt that, you are in the right place today. I'm Vanessa.
And I'm Bob. And today we're talking about those 10 little English mistakes that, to be honest, almost everyone makes when they start out. I made them when I was learning languages too.
The goal today isn't to give you a boring grammar lesson. We want to help you sound more like you. We want your English to feel natural, so you can stop worrying about the rules and just enjoy the conversation. Whether you're walking the dog or driving to work, just relax and listen.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, English is just a tool to connect with people. If you're tired of feeling like a textbook and want to start sounding like a friend, stay with us until the end of this one.
And hey, if you want to sound more natural, sticking around for the whole episode is the best way to soak up these real-life patterns. Let's get into it. So Bob, let's jump in. What's the first big one? The mistake you hear at the coffee shop or at work all the time?
Honestly, it's the "how are you" trap. Beginners almost always say, "I am fine."
Oh, the classic, I am fine. It sounds like a robot is talking.
Right, it's too formal. In real life, it can actually sound a bit cold. If my wife says I am fine, I know I'm in big trouble. It usually means she's not fine. In a normal conversation, we just say, "I'm good, thanks," or "Not bad, how about you?" Keep it short, keep it moving.
I notice that too. When I meet students, they sound like they're reading from a page. What's number 2 on your list?
The "I have 25 years" mistake. I hear this from almost everyone whose native language uses have for age. But in English, we are the age.
Right. You don't possess the years. You are the age. I'm 25. It's a tiny change, but it's a huge signal that you're moving past that beginner stage. When you say, I have 25 years, it sounds like you have them in a box somewhere.
Exactly. Hold on, let me get my years out of the cupboard. And number 3 is about jobs. People often say, I am cook or I am engineer.
They forget the A or an.
Every time. You need that little A. I'm a teacher. I'm an engineer. It's a small sound, but it's the glue of the sentence. Without it, the sentence feels like it has a flat tire. It just doesn't roll right.
That makes sense. What about when people want to explain something? I hear, explain me the problem, a lot.
Oh man, I hear that daily. In English, you've got to explain it to me. You can't just explain a person. It's a tiny word, to, but it changes the whole direction of the sentence.
And what's the 5th one for this section?
This one is a bit funny. It's the I lost the bus mistake.
Wait, did you drop it? Is it in your pocket?
That's what it sounds like. If you lose the bus, you can't find it. If you arrive late and the bus is gone, you missed the bus. I once had a friend tell me he lost his girlfriend at the airport. I was so worried. I thought she was a missing person. He just meant he didn't get there in time to see her before her flight.
Oh my gosh, that is a huge difference. I lost my girlfriend sounds like a movie plot. I missed her just sounds like you're late. But you know, Bob, even you, being a native speaker, you've had these lost in translation moments when you were learning, haven't you?
Oh, absolutely. I'm not perfect. I remember when I was first trying to learn a bit of Italian for a trip. I walked into this beautiful little bakery. I was so proud of myself. And I wanted to say I was full because I had just eaten a huge lunch. I didn't want any more cake.
Oh no, I think I know where this is going.
Yeah. I used a word that sounded like full in English, but in that language it actually meant, well, it meant I was pregnant.
Bob, no way.
I'm standing there, this grown man with a beard, telling a very confused baker that I'm expecting a baby. The whole shop went silent. And you know what? I felt my face turn bright red. I wanted the floor to open up and swallow me.
That's the thing, though. That's exactly what our listeners feel. That red face moment. But look at you. You survived. The baker eventually laughed, and I bet you never forgot the right word again.
Never. It's burned into my brain. That's the point I want to make to you guys listening. Mistakes are actually like anchors for your memory. They're painful for 5 seconds, but they teach you more than a book ever could.
I totally agree. I had a student once who was so nervous about the "I'm boring" versus "I'm bored" mistake.
Oh, that's a classic. Number 6 on our list.
Exactly. She was at a dinner party and wanted to say she was tired and a bit bored by the long speeches. But she kept saying, "I am so boring."
So she was telling everyone, "Hey everyone, I'm a very dull person. Don't talk to me."
Right. And people were just nodding politely like, "Okay, thanks for telling us." She was so embarrassed when she realized it later. But honestly, if you're listening to this and you've had a red face moment like that, do us a huge favor and hit that like button. It lets us know we're all in this together.
It really does. It helps the channel, but it also helps other learners feel less alone. To be honest, I still make mistakes in English sometimes. I'll start a sentence and realize halfway through that I've used the wrong word. It's just part of being human.
That's the smart friend Bob talking. I love that. Let's look at a few more mistakes before we wrap up. What about "I very like it"?
Oh yeah, number 7. I very like it. It feels natural because you want to show how much you like something. But in English, very doesn't like to be alone with a verb. We say, "I really like it," or "I like it very much."
It's like very needs a friend to hold on to.
Exactly. And number 8, this one is about people. The peoples are nice.
Ah, the S trap.
Right. People is already plural. You don't need the S. It's like saying the children's. It sounds very beginner, even if people understand you. Just people are nice. Easy.
And what about the word fun? This is number 9. People say "I am fun" when they mean they are having a good time.
Yeah, that's a tricky one. If you say, "I am fun," you are saying you are a party animal. You're saying you are the entertainment. If you're enjoying a party, you say, "I'm having fun."
I actually made that mistake in my second language once. I told everyone I was very fun, and they all looked at me like, "Wow, she's really confident."
Well, you are fun, Vanessa, so it wasn't a total lie. And the last one, number 10, is simply, "I am agree."
Oh, I hear this 10 times a day.
I know. Agree is a verb, not an adjective, so you don't need am. Just say, "I agree." Or if you really want to sound natural, say, "I'm with you on that."
I'm with you on that. I love that phrase. Let's take a second to look at some of the words we've been using naturally in this conversation. Because this is how you actually learn, by hearing the words in action.
Great idea. One word I used a few times is honestly, or the phrase, "to be honest."
You do use that a lot. Why?
Well, to be honest is a softener. If I just say, "You're wrong," it sounds mean. But if I say, "To be honest, I don't think that's right," it sounds much more like a conversation between friends. It shows I'm being sincere.
Like when you said, "To be honest, I still make mistakes." It made me feel more comfortable.
Exactly. Another one we used was trip someone up. Like, that mistake really trips people up.
Right. It's like walking down the street and hitting a rock with your foot. You don't fall down completely, but you stumble. So, a tricky word is a word that makes your tongue stumble.
Perfect explanation. What about classic? You said, "Oh, the classic," when I mentioned the "I am fine" mistake.
To me, a classic is something that happens all the time, or something that is very typical. Like a classic movie or a classic mistake. It's the standard version of something.
And I use the word robotic. I said, "I am fine" sounds robotic.
That's a good one for our listeners to know. It means no emotion, no life, like a machine. We want your English to be the opposite of robotic. We want it to be warm.
Warm English. I like that. And let's look at jump in. You said, "Let's jump in" at the start.
Yeah, it's just a fun, energetic way to say, let's start. If you're in a meeting at work and you want to start talking about a project, you can say, "Can I jump in here?" It sounds so much more natural than, "May I begin speaking now?"
Yeah, please don't say, "May I begin speaking now?" You'll sound like you're from the year 1800.
Exactly. And one last one, soak up. I told the listeners to soak up these patterns.
Like a sponge. A sponge soaks up water. When you listen to this podcast, you aren't studying with a pen and paper. You're just letting the natural sounds of English soak into your brain.
That's the best way to learn. It's the lazy way, but it's actually the most effective way because it sticks.
You know, Vanessa, we've covered a lot today. But if people only remember one thing from this 25-minute chat, what should it be?
I think it's that your mistakes don't define you. They're just signs that you're trying. If you say, "I have 20 years," I still know exactly how old you are. The connection is made.
Exactly. The perfect English speaker doesn't exist. Even native speakers stumble. The most important thing is that you keep showing up, keep listening, and keep jumping in.
We're so proud of you for spending these 25 minutes with us today. It shows you're serious about your English, and that's half the battle right there.
Definitely. So, here's your homework. Don't worry, it's easy. Tell us in the comments, which of these 10 mistakes do you make the most? Or if you're feeling brave, tell us about a red face moment you've had. We read every single comment.
We really do. And if this helped you feel a little more confident, please subscribe and share this with one friend who's also learning. It helps us keep making these for you every week.
Thanks for listening, guys. Go out there, make some mistakes, and have some fun with your English today.
Bye, everyone. We'll see you in the next one.